Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 2 of the tissue box ukulele build project. Okay, so in the first video I'd taken the two halves apart, removed the hinges and the hook and clasp to give me better access to actually work on the two separate pieces. And I'd taken out the black material lining from the lid, or the top, it left a little bit of patches of it still on there with glue residue and everything, so I'd scraped it all and got it all cleaned up. And I've since done the same to the bottom half. Okay. And what I found, which was nice, is that the back panel is a solid piece of wood. It's not high quality wood, but it's not chipboard like the sides, and it's not hardboard like the top. So it's a solid piece of wood. It's pine, I guess. It looks to me as though it's a piece of an old pallet or something, but. So I've taken all the lining out of there as well and cleaned it all up, and it's looking pretty good. So one other thing that I've done to the bottom part, I've put in a block of wood here, which is going to act as part of the neck block. And the other thing I've done is taken the back panel out. So as I said, this is a piece of solid wood, and it's about 5mm thick. A little bit too thick really, but I would rather have the strength. And I'm going to leave this, which is on the back of it, I'm going to leave that on. So the reason I've taken the back panel off is because when I come to glue the two pieces together, it's going to give me much easier access and capability for attaching the neck, the bridge and bridge plate, and the electronics, because there's, you can't do this kind of work through the sound hole of such a small instrument. It's impossible. So I've taken the back panel off, so that when I glue the two halves together, I've still got full access through. So that's the bottom part. Now I've made some progress also with the top half. Now I didn't film any of the bits that I've done because it was mostly basically cutting and gluing wood, not all that exciting. I perhaps should have filmed this part. So I cut out a piece of wood and fitted it in there, and the sound hole now is kind of egg-shaped. So I cut this piece of wood out and glued it in there, and it fits really well. There's no air gaps or anything anywhere around there, so I just cut it out really good, and it fits in there really nice. Perhaps I should have filmed that, but it basically, like I said, it was basically just cutting and gluing wood in place, not really all that exciting. It's fairly solid, but what I've done on the inside, I've put in a couple of braces. Now they're rough at the moment, but they're glued in. And again, I've got this piece of wood here for the neck block. I've got a brace basically across the top of the sound hole, and then one directly underneath. And excuse me, the bridge is going to end up kind of in this area, the bridge. And so on the inside, the bridge plate is going to be, this kind of area. So the bridge plate is going to go over this. So that's going to add some strength there. The reason I put these braces in is because the whole top was quite flexible, and when I put the bridge plate in here as well, it's going to strengthen it a bit more. So this is the bridge that I'm going to use. It's a really nice bridge, and it's got the bridge pin setup instead of the normal ukulele bridge where you put the string through the holes and then you tie it. And I mean they work, but this is just much nicer. And also, it's not going to focus, but you can probably see this has a compensated saddle. It's going to be quite finicky to set that up, but that will probably improve the intonation quite a lot, because the main compensation is where the C string will be. So G, C, E, A. So the C is the lowest string and therefore the thickest string, and you often get intonation problems on that string. On a guitar, it will be the B string, which is the second highest string. So that's the bridge, and I am going to be scalloping the ends down, because it's the same sort of. It's quite a thick bridge as well. It's probably 7mm thick. So I'm going to be scalloping the ends down to make it look a bit more pretty as well. But I much prefer the bridge pin style bridges, and it's a really nice looking wood as well. We've got a little bit of different coloration going on here, which I think is rather nice. And you can see it's real wood, because that goes right the way through. A nice piece of wood. It probably is rosewood of some sort. Yeah, it is. And so that's the bridge, and this is the bridge plate that's going to go behind it. So it's going to go, let me just line it up. Because I've already made pilot holes all the way through. So that's what it's going to look like. So obviously the bridge on the outside and the bridge plate inside. So I've made it a bit bigger than the bridge, but not too big, because then it's going to start to deaden the sound. So that's going to be on the inside, something like that. Whoop. Something in sort of that kind of area. So you can see that's going to stabilise this panel that I put in a bit more as well. Because it's only glued around the surfaces that meet here, you see. So it's not overly strong. So those this brace goes over that, so it's glued all the way across there, and it's going to be the same with the bridge plate under here. So that's going to really stabilise this piece that I put in. And I may also put in some little pieces here and here and here and here, just some really thin wood over those edges where they meet, just to stabilise it a bit more. I may or may not do that. We'll see later. Okay, so yeah, made a bit of progress. As I said, didn't film it because it was cutting and gluing wood, not all that exciting. So these braces that I put in, I've now got to shape them. So again, I'm going to scallop the ends down on both of them, and the top edge I'm going to narrow that as well, to make them as light as possible, but still have the strength, because the strength is in the height of them, basically. So let me just turn the camera around a bit, and let me just angle that down and work in that window. Okay, let's just put that down a bit more. Okay. Right, so let's get that back out of the way and the bridge out of the way. So, what's the best angle to do this where you can see what I'm doing? So I'm going to scallop the ends down, and as I said, narrow the top as well. Now, I haven't tried any of this off camera, so I don't know how well it's going to go, but I did off camera sharpen one of my chisels with my whetstones, and it's really nice and sharp now. So it's basically a case of, you know, carving down and then, you know, coming round, so it gets a kind of a curve downwards. Okay, so let's try. You can't really see what I'm doing too much. I can't try to zoom in on this camera, but it's not the best one for this. Yeah, I'm not going to do any more than that because it will just blur. Okay, so I've also put some marks on here where I want the bevel to start, or scallop, whatever you want to call it. So really what I need to do is start quite close here and just take a small sliver out, and then, you know, come back and do a bit more, back and do a bit more, back and do a bit more. So I want it so that when it comes to this edge, it's, you know, it's really, really low. So let's see how well this goes. Okay, so the first cut coming in. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, that's actually doing pretty well. Wish you could see better what I'm doing. Let me see if I can angle that up. Okay, that's a bit better. So I don't want to take too much off at a time. Just a little sliver basically to give me better control and keep the shape the way I want it, and also so that I don't, you know, cause any unwanted damage. Yeah, that's really going rather well. Be careful not to, you know, damage the side of the side wall as well. That would be a disaster. Okay, it's going quite well. Light's not great, let's turn that over. Okay, I think you can kind of see what I'm doing there. I did want it to sort of curve a bit, but it's not curving that much, but it really doesn't matter. It's purely for aesthetics, really, this part. It's not even necessary to do it, really, but I want to do it because it just looks better. You know, it looks as though I put some effort into it. I mean, you know, all the well-made instruments are done like this. You know, you'll see the really cheap ones that it's just, you know, the braces are just left like that, and it just doesn't look very good. And also, you know, by doing this, you're taking a little bit of weight off it, because you always want an instrument, especially an acoustic instrument, to be as light as possible, really. Don't want too much weight in it. Okay, so that's, let me just tidy that end up a bit. Okay, that's about as far as I want to go with that. Let's turn that way again. It's more or less down to nothing at the end, and it kind of meets the mark where I wanted it to stop or start, whichever way you want to look at it. Okay, so that's That's actually going better than I was expecting it would. So just start on the other end. I'm not going to put any braces in the back. It won't need them. I mean, the back is about 5mm thick, and you know, it's not a big instrument like a guitar, so it's really not going to be necessary to do any in the back. I mean, I rarely put braces in ukuleles anyway, because of the size of them. You know, when they're built in the factory, they're always put in. But when I make the handmade ones, I don't usually worry too much about those. Maybe I should, I don't know. Okay, how are we doing for time? Not too bad. Got about 10 minutes left of recording. So, you know, to do jobs like this and to do them well, the key is the sharpness of your tools. You know, if you've got tools that are blunt or even semi-sharp, you ain't going to be able to do a job like this very well. So, you know, having good quality and sharp tools is absolutely paramount to, you know, to doing this kind of work. And you can see the shavings that are coming off, they're pretty thin. There's no way you'd do that with a blunt chisel. It would be impossible. And you know, people say, oh, you've got to be careful with sharp tools, they're dangerous. Well, not if you use them properly. And in fact, a blunt tool is more dangerous to you than a properly used sharp tool. Because blunt tools don't do the job they're supposed to do. They can, you know, slip and move around and end up, you know, dug into your hand, which is obviously not what you want. So yeah, sharp tools are absolutely imperative for doing any kind of woodwork. I mean, that should go without saying really, but some people don't really look after their tools the way they should do. Something I've always been very particular about is, you know, looking after my tools. There's a joke in there somewhere. Okay. This is not a job to be rushed either. You've got to take your time, do a little bit at a time, because it can easily and very quickly go wrong if you're not careful. You know, it's take your time and do the job properly. Okay, that's almost there. So it doesn't take long. Bad at all. Okay, a couple more shaves off of that, and that should be about right. Let's tidy up the end again. Okay. It's fairly uniform, kind of the same both ends. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's gone rather well. Okay, I won't start the other one yet with the chisel, just because I want to show you how I'm going to narrow the top, because I haven't got much time left. So I'm going to try one of my little finger planes. Now this is my smallest one, 10mm I think. Just grab a ruler. There we go. Yeah, this is a 10mm finger plane. Really, really small, cute little thing. So what I'm going to try and do with this is go along the top edge to narrow it. Now this wood, you know, it's got quite a wide grain on it, so this might not work, but I'll give it a go, see how we go. It's not playing ball that way. Let me try it the other way. Yeah, it's not great. I didn't actually sharpen the blade on this, and I should have done. Just try a bit more. There is a bit of a knack to using these finger planes as well, and I've not used them very much. No, that's not working for me. So I'm going to go to the chisel and very carefully do it with the chisel. Oh, that's much better. That's much better. Okay. So again, just taking off thin slivers, not trying to gouge the wood away. Yeah, that's going rather well. Try and keep it even as well, not take off more on one side than the other. It's good because you know, as you shave wood, you'll see, you know, colour changes in the grain, and it's easier to see where you've been and where you still need to cut some away. Right, let's down the other side. I'm not doing this in a way that's good for me to see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to do it in a way that you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's actually going pretty well. I would prefer to use a finger plane, but it's just not working for this application. So the chisel's just as good. In fact, because it's so sharp, it's better for this application right now. Okay, so maybe you can see, compared to the other one, how that's starting to take some shape. You can already see that it's considerably narrower at the top than this one. So it's going in the right direction, which is always nice. Always like it when things go the way I want them to. It's not always the case. Okay, let's take a bit more off that side. Yeah, that's going really well. Really well. I don't actually really need to take a lot more off of that. I don't want to shave it down too thin, because obviously it's not going to do the job it's supposed to do. Actually, I think that might be good enough. Just a little bit more off the inside of there. We should be good to go. Yeah, I'm liking that. It's still a little bit lumpy in places. I'll try and just tidy that up a bit. Nice, nice. This is going really well. Like I said, I don't normally do braces, so I'm not, you know, my skills are not honed in this department. Okay, I think that is enough. I mean, it still needs a little bit of tidying, but as far, I'm really not going to be able to see it, but as far as, you know, the thickness and the height and everything, that's about right. Just take a little bit more off there. Yeah, that's about right. just take off the edges a little bit down these scallops. That's nice. Okay, the other end. Wow. That's going so well. As I said, you know, the key is sharp tools. These chisels are good quality. Czechoslovakian, or Czech Republic. The brand name is, it's not going to focus. Brand name Narex. As I said, they're a Czech Republic brand. Really, you know, good quality, and it just makes sense to keep them sharp. Look after them. Okay, so as far as shaping is concerned, that's about it. So the next step for that, we'll have to wait because I'm just about to run out of time. So we will see you in the next one. Peace out.